This is the scheduled time for the meeting of the Franchise Tax Board. May I ask the board liaison to please call the roll to determine if a quorum is present?
Member Cohen? Present. Deputy Member Chamberlain?
Present.
Chair Controller Betty T.
Here. Thank you very much. At least 2 members or their designated representatives being personally present, there is a quorum, and the Franchise Tax Board is now in session. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and welcome again. The public has the right to comment on each of our agenda items today, and if there are any members of the public wishing to speak on an item, please come forward when that item is called, and you will have 3 minutes to address the board. The first item, members, is approval of the minutes, and we do have the minutes of the December 10th, 2018 board meeting and the Taxpayer Bill of Rights hearing. And is there a motion?
I move.
Yep.
I move to approve
Okay,
the minutes.
all right. Motion by Member Chamberlain. I will second that motion. I believe Member Cohen, you'll be abstaining? Okay, very well. And without objection, that will be the order. Item number 2 is a PowerPoint presentation on the 2018 awards and accomplishments presented by Tim Lewis and Ming Mei. And this is an informational item. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Timothy Lewis, and I'm a manager within the Business and Human Resources Bureau of the Administrative Services Division here at FTB. To my left, I'm joined by Ming Mei of our Audit Division. First, I would like to express my appreciation for the opportunity to present before you today. It was 5 years ago that both Ming and I walked through the doors of FTB as starry-eyed new employees. And having worked in our Human Resources Bureau for 2.5 years of that time, I can't think of anything I'd rather do than present to you those employees who shined the brightest in 2018. As you will see from the pantheon on the screen, FTB takes its foundational principles seriously. This is something that particularly caught my attention when I joined the FTB family and was introduced to the FTB's missions and values. Coming from the corporate world, I was clear on the fact that every successful company, business, or agency must have a clear mission and a defined set of values that not only drive, but also sustain their business if they are truly to become a strong organization. The difference here at FTB was an immediate recognition of the enterprise-wide knowledge of and adherence to the mission of FTB and the values that we hold so dear. Today I will present a brief slideshow to recognize FTB staff who not only showed an exemplary commitment to these values, but who also went above and beyond to help us accomplish our mission and achieve our goals in 2018. During my part of this presentation today, you will get to meet the recipients of the 2018 Supervisory Bonus Award. These are supervisors who have demonstrated outstanding job performance and exemplify our values and exceed the established standards, one of which is leading with integrity and inspiration. These supervisors are a very exclusive group and represent the very best of FTB. In this presentation, you will also get to meet the recipients of the Large Team Awards. This award recognizes groups of employees for their hard work, dedication, and successful contributions as part of teams, large and small, that contributed significantly to the department's goals and mission in 2018. A part of FTB's culture is to empower staff who think and operate from an innovative enterprise-wide perspective. This has resulted in team efforts and project successes. The Large Team Award recipients are outstanding examples of how employees at FTB bring our best. We here at FTB firmly believe in the importance of appreciating and celebrating what has been accomplished by our great leaders and dedicated teams. In essence, this is how we continue to ignite the passion, perseverance, and fortitude to meet whatever challenge opportunities present themselves head on with dedication and determination. And though I would love to stop and discuss the unique contributions of each person and team that will be shown on this slideshow before you today, of course, time will not permit. So without further delay, please join me in recognizing the recipients of the 2018 Supervisory Bonus Awards and Large Team Awards. Thank you for allowing us to present this slideshow to you today. We appreciate your continued support in celebrating some of our star employees from 2018.
Thank you very much, Tim, and congratulations to all of the award recipients. I know many of them are joining us here today. May I ask all of the award recipients who are present in the auditorium to please stand so we may acknowledge you. Thank you. Thank you for the sustained job well done and just really leading the organization and obviously staying true to our mission to our taxpayers. Thank you. Members, any comments on this particular item? Yes, please, Member Cohn.
Hi, everyone. Good. Hello.
Yes.
Hi. My name is Malia Cohen, and I'm probably a new face that you're unfamiliar with. I was just elected this past election cycle in November to sit on the State Board of Equalization, and I'm the chair, and now I am here on the Franchise Tax Board. And I'm delighted to be here, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Since I got out of the car and walked first step in this building, there is something magical here. It is like Disneyland. It is incredible. People are smiling and happy and cheery. I have never seen an organization like this, and I've worked in elected office for many years. And I was speaking with the controller, and she was just talking about the culture of the FTB. And I just want to take a moment just to acknowledge each and every one of you that are being recognized today. It is hard to do public service. And if you're able to do it and enjoy what you're doing, I think you have found your life's calling. And I want to applaud you for you being so outstanding. This is just remarkable. And Miss Selvey, congratulations to you on being able to lead such a healthy organization. And I am delighted to be here and delighted to be your partner in teamwork. And hopefully we'll assist you in doing whatever heavy lifting that needs to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Member Cohn, and welcome to the board. And I think you will find the time here just very rewarding. And as you've already acknowledged, this is a very, very special place. Yes, great, thank you. Any other comments by members? I have a question, and not to put anyone on the spot, but I thought I knew this organization. But I really am curious about Workspace One Air Watch Boxer Team.
I can get more information on that and get it.
Is there a member of the team here?
Actually, go ahead. Go ahead, Jared.
So, hi, my name is Jared Johnson. I'm the director of the operations.
Why don't we have you, yes.
Hey, Jared's going to speak in a little bit. Why don't you just do that as part of his presentation?
No, that's okay. We'll have him do this one.
Hi, my name is Jared Johnson. I'm the director of the Operations Management Bureau. Thank you. With the Technology Services Division. So the Workspace ONE AirWatch project was actually a way for us to provide a mobile email solution to some of our executives and stakeholders. So it brought in a new technology that allowed us to deliver email to tablets, smartphones, things like that. So we were able to replace an older legacy product and brought in this new technology.
That's terrific. Thank you. Thank you
welcome.
very much. Okay. You stumped the controller. Okay. Great. Thank you so much. And congratulations again to the award recipients. All right, members, let's move on to item number 3, which is a PowerPoint presentation on 2019 filing season readiness. And this is going to be presented by Jared Johnson and Roger Lackey. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
All right, thank you. I was fortunate enough to have served 2 years as a member of FTB's Mission and Values team.
Yes.
So for the second half of our presentation, I would like to turn things over to Ming Mei, the current chairperson of FTB's Mission and Values team, to highlight some of FTB's greatest accomplishments from the past year. Ming?
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon. My name is Ming Mei, and I work in the audit division here at FTB. In addition, I'm serving as the chair of FTB's Missions and Values team, something that I'm very passionate about and honored to be a part of. Back in 2013, we started creating accomplishment videos for our employees as an effective way to celebrate our major milestones and success in a memorable way. The videos last only a few minutes and are a significant part of wrapping up the year and turning our eyes to the horizon of what is yet to come. These videos are also a powerful tool for employment engagement, recognitions, and creating a powerful moment that matters. Each accomplishment is highlighted by different employees and business areas throughout FTB. Even though this video only provides the barest glimpse into our greatest accomplishment, I believe you will still get a sense of just how busy the 2018 year was for us. We also hope you are able to see our values shine through the interaction on the screen, because in everything we do, we strive to lead with integrity and inspirations, bring our best, deliver excellent products and services, contribute to a caring community, and become expert at what we do. Now, I invite you to please take a look at our accomplishments in 2018.
FTB's 2018 Accomplishment Yearbook, brought to you by FTB and our board.
Hey Matt, as you know, we've recently implemented AB 2503 legislation that now affords domestic corporations and domestic limited liability companies an opportunity, if they cease business and have no assets, a pathway to administrative dissolution.
That's awesome. So now you can take staff and direct them to more value-added work.
Great.
Perfect.
This year, the VITA team launched 11 training videos to make it easier for volunteers to get certified.
We're dedicated to the California taxpayers and expanded to serve more than ever.
We love serving you, California!
We've been working hard this year on cutting-edge nudge projects.
We partnered with JPAL, MIT's Global Research Center, and the California Policy Lab to conduct studies to improve the honesty in filing of California tax returns, and also to increase the uptake of the California EITC. And we won an award!
Our legal staff, Legislative Services Bureau, and the Economic and Statistical Research Bureau dove deep into federal reform to complete the summary of federal income tax change report.
We also led a symposium to gather input from our stakeholders and to listen to their concerns about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
During this symposium, we received many valuable comments from our stakeholders on the impact of federal tax reform to California. We will soon be sending their concerns to the legislature.
Recreational cannabis became legal and licensing began at the state level at the beginning of 2018. So we spent the last year getting to know the industry and what might be important to them and what tools and resources we could provide to them.
Yes, and we've actually participated in a number of meetings with them so that we could find out more about what they need, what their struggles are, and specifically with the taxes and the franchise tax board. And we're looking for ways to work with them, make it easier for them to get the information, and also make it easier for them to pay their taxes.
We contribute to a caring community.
Through the Our Promise campaign, FTB employees donated over $200,000.
And thanks to you, we received a record number of pledge forms as well as a record number of new donors. Thank you, FTB.
Yay! FTB is becoming more customer experience focused by applying the CX principle across the enterprise.
We've been conducting co-creation workshops, examining processes from the outside in, including our hiring process.
CX is changing the way we work with our customers.
Hi, we're Talent Management's core competency service, and we
bring our best.
Over the last 12 months, we've partnered with OEDS and GLL. Did you know that OEDS has over 15 classes that tie back to the competencies? And GLL comes out with an activity on a quarterly basis. Check us out
on FTBnet.
Hi, this year we developed a training, 13 4-hour new law training sessions, training approximately 750 FTB employees.
And the purpose of the training was to ensure that our customer service staff understands and is aware of the personal and business entity tax law changes, as well as the 2018 Federal Tax Reform Act.
And FTB helped connect our partners with millions of dollars in order to spread the word about the California Earned Income Tax Credit. On top of that, we worked with the Community College Foundation to send the e-bus to dozens of locations around California to connect people with a free tax prep.
and we were actually able to send out over 1 million brochures, posters, and postcards.
We've done a lot of printing, and I still can't get this ink off of me.
2018 brought with it several devastating disasters that rocked communities across the state and changed the course of many lives forever.
In response to these tragedies, the governor ordered state and local agencies to open disaster assistance centers and disaster recovery centers to assist survivors.
We assisted taxpayers who lost records, had questions on their accounts, needed state tax forms, and had questions about tax treatment for claiming disaster losses.
52 FTB employees participated in this effort, and we couldn't be more proud.
In 2018, ECFB celebrated 10 years of FTB service, where 77 mentors were able to mentor 116 mentees, which is a huge variety of experience, skills, and enterprise-wide perspective.
We're becoming experts at what we do.
We implemented a new data analytics training program to help staff across the enterprise use data to solve business problems.
In 2018, the Filing Division created a new leadership program for our tax program supervisors, customer service supervisors, and office services managers. I'm here with 3 of our graduates to tell you what they learned.
We had classroom training.
We developed our leadership competencies, and we got mentors.
We brought a lot of new skills right back to our teams.
There were 3 new features to the Attorney Professional Development Program this year. The first was a technical roundtable that we held discussing the Wayfair decision and its potential impact on issues that the Franchise Tax Board might face. The second program we've implemented is department-wide training, exposing the attorneys to programs throughout the department that may affect the legal division. And finally, we have worked with the Assistant Chief Counsels and leads to develop individual development plans for the attorneys and then implement a follow-through program.
We deliver excellent products and services. For the 2018 filing season, the Filing Season Action Team got together focusing on improving taxpayer services, things that we looked at to help It's improving the delivery of refunds to taxpayers, ensuring the consistency in the information that our contact centers were able to provide to taxpayers, and ensuring our external partners also had delivered the services that they needed. So it turned out to be a great year.
We created a series of videos and a web page to help taxpayers get ready for the first filing season after the new federal tax reform law changes.
FTB, in partnership with the Sacramento Food Bank, raised over 64,000 pounds of food.
And because of you, FTB was #1 amongst 100 other state agencies participating in the 2018 California State Employees Food Drive.
We lead with integrity and inspiration. We graduated from the Management Development Program. And we graduated from the Executive Assessment Development Program. And we graduated from the Leadership Development Programs. We got promoted!
This year we completed the CPA certification program.
Yes!
We just joined the FTB family! Woo!
At FTB, our future is bright. We are looking forward to another amazing year with the support of great staff and our new board. Together, we will accomplish great things.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
We shall.
Thank you, guys.
Wait, don't move.
Oh, that's right. Someone needs their badge back.
Oh, I don't get in trouble for this.
Thank you for allowing us to share this video with you today. We hope you enjoy watching and felt the spirit of our values. And thank you for being a board who is as dedicated to FTB's success as we are. We greatly appreciate your continued support. And now, team and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Meg, and thank you for the video. Questions or comments, members? No? Great. Thank you very much, and we look forward to another successful year together. Thank you. Okay, we are now on item number 3, which is the PowerPoint presentation on the 2019 filing season readiness, presented by Jared Johnson and Roger Lackey. This also is an informational item. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Jared Johnson, Director of the Operations Management Bureau of the Technology Services Division. I'm joined by Roger Lackey, Director of the Processing Services Bureau of the Filing Division. We are here today to share with you an overview of the planning efforts necessary to prepare FTB for the 2019 filing season. With approximately 20 million taxpayers filing annually, our readiness is critical to our success.
Yes, Jared. Planning is key to our success. Today, we'd like to share with the board some of the actions we've taken in getting ready for the filing season and the specific challenges we have prepared for the 2019 filing season. We'll take a quick look at our planning processes and services starting with the past, including highlights from the 2018 filing season and how modernizing both our processes and services with technology benefit the state and, most importantly, taxpayers. We will also discuss how FTB's focus on modernizing our services has enabled us to be agile in making decisions, addressing issues, and focusing on improved customer experience. And last, we will talk about some of the specific challenges facing the current 2019 filing season. Over the last several years, FTB has endeavored on modernizing our tax systems to be more operational efficient and to improve services. As Jared mentioned, with over 20 million taxpayers filing annually, our success is critical. What creates even more of a demand is that approximately 80%, or 15 million tax returns, will be received by FTB in a 2.5-month window, with approximately 12 million of those taxpayers expecting a refund. In the past, our planning and processing decisions and ultimately the services we provided were based on physical logistics of the intake of a paper-dependent process. Imagine a sea of trucks, as you can see on the screen, holding millions of returns waiting for processing. Simply put, in the past, there wasn't enough space to quickly process the work.
That meant that at the time, our decisions were internally focused rather than externally focused. Over the last decade, with the shift of most tax returns being submitted electronically and the more recent modernization of our paper processes through the Enterprise Data to Revenue Project, which we'll refer to as EDR, our ability to be more agile in processing tax returns, payments, and correspondence has significantly increased. Furthermore, with the new technology services made available through the EDR project, we are able to break down our workloads even further to continue to provide better service for taxpayers and the state. For example, it wasn't long ago that a fast processing time for a refund was considered to be up to 6 weeks. Today, most taxpayers receive their refund within 7 to 10 days. As this example illustrates, our operational decisions are focused on the taxpayer and meeting their needs with timely and accurate processing and adding transparency in our operations. Now I'll turn it back over to Jared to talk about the present.
Thank you, Roger. With the recent completion of the EDR project, we introduced a modernized technology platform for return and payment processing and the online MyFTB service. Using the MyFTB service, taxpayers and tax professionals can interact securely with FTB using a personalized account with access to return, refund, and payment data spanning the last 5 years. We've also introduced a customer service dashboard that provides a real-time glimpse at return and refund processing timeframes, payment processing timeframes, and contact service wait times. Finally, we've made available a mobile refund application providing taxpayers a transparent step-by-step view of their refund processing status. FTB received a Best of California award for our customer service dashboard in 2017, and recently surveyed taxpayers have rated our online refund status application 4.7 out of 5 stars. These innovative technology solutions provide secure, stable, and accurate services that meet our projected peak processing demands with a lower overall operating cost. Here are some notable highlights from the 2018 filing season. Our target for digital service availability is 99%. In 2018, FTB's critical 24/7 digital services were available 99.9% of the time to taxpayers and tax professionals. FTB also set a new single-day record when we received over 1.2 million returns and payments on April 18, 2018. This was 5% higher than the previous record set in 2017. Finally, we had over 99,000 new MyFTB registrations and 4.6 million users of our refund status applications. So how do we continue to adapt to the changing needs of taxpayers and offer digital services? We rely on our annual planning process. We refer to our annual planning process as filing season readiness. It is an enterprise effort and everyone contributes. Our planning provides an opportunity to evaluate past filing season successes and identify future improvements to our services. Taxpayer expectations, tax law changes, and ever-evolving technology influence our planning and improvement efforts. Within our annual process, we track thousands of tasks that we know need to occur every year. For example, the tax year displayed on a form needs to be changed each year. Although this seems like a simple change, it in fact results in many changes to forms, notices, and our return processing services. We focus on 3 key aspects: people, process, and technology. Externally, we seek feedback from taxpayers, tax professionals, software companies, and partner state agencies. Internally, we perform an end-to-end review of system performance, business processes, and the taxpayer experience. We also identify and prioritize digital service enhancements, ensuring functionality and performance are optimized. We also have a robust risk management process that helps us prepare for the unknown and what-if situations and scenarios. More than 20 million income tax returns are filed annually by California taxpayers, and 88% are filed electronically. Manual processing no longer met the needs of taxpayers, so FTB made a conscious shift to digital services. We adapted to what we refer to as the Amazon effect: customer expectations for secure, fast, and efficient online services. In the past, taxpayers had 3 unique ways to interact with FTB: a phone, correspondence, or a public counter. FTB began to focus on self-service and expanding our online and mobile capabilities, as well as improving our return and payment processing services. Today, we provide taxpayers multiple self-service channels and live services, including interactive IVR, phone, live chat, email, text, and social media. As our processes matured, business and technology became seamlessly integrated. We also consider security a foundational principle at FTB. We would not be able to deliver these services without ensuring they are secure, accurate, and stable. These innovative solutions provide flexibility that can adapt to technology trends and, more importantly, meet the evolving needs of California taxpayers. I'll turn it back to Roger to talk a little bit more about some of the challenges we prepared for in 2019.
Thank you, Jared. In addition to serving millions of taxpayers in a short window, each year FTB is faced with unique challenges when it comes to our busiest season of the year. Here are 3 key items that we have prepared for as this year's filing season progresses: federal tax reform, the perfect storm, and the expansion of the California Earned Income Tax Credit. So first, with federal tax reform. Like many, we began tracking the issue and its possible impacts to California. In July, we convened a team to begin looking at those specific impacts and developed a plan to minimize the impacts to taxpayers and to the state. Our plans included an analysis for both the Franchise Tax Board and oversight agencies, including the legislature and the governor's office, on the impacts of federal tax reform. A focused effort on the impacts to the California tax return, including collaborative sessions with our stakeholder groups for input. This included the taxpayer advocate, the tax professional community, and the tax software community. We provide outreach and face-to-face meetings with tax professional groups, sharing the impacts to California, their clients, and information on how to prepare their California income tax return. We also trained over 750 public-facing staff to answer questions we anticipated they may receive during this upcoming filing season. And we also have extended our contact center hours for the peak periods, including being open on Cesar Chavez holiday, as well as Saturday, April the 13th. And we integrated the form changes and new business rules into our electronic intake, processing, and validation systems, including the supporting training and procedures for our processing staff. In addition, our communication and marketing team developed a focused filing strategy to support taxpayers and FTB's readiness, which included the launching of a webpage covering important news about tax reform. We created videos, including one about withholding, which can be found on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And we created a social media infographic to describe changes in the law and tied messaging to the Get Ready hashtag. So I'll now turn it back over to Jared to talk about our preparation for what we call the perfect storm.
Thanks, Roger. We also identified that 2019 is a perfect storm year. Perfect storm refers to a filing season when April 15th falls on a Monday. In this scenario, we tend to see more taxpayers wait until the Monday deadline to file rather than the more gradual ramp-up of volumes. The last time this occurred was 2013, and, like the IRS, it put a significant strain on our digital services. Since then, we have taken the opportunity to implement many process and technology improvements that provide a more robust and scalable technology platform designed to meet our maximum forecasted demands. The planning process started over a year ago. We established 4 enterprise teams focused on forecasting demand for our services and developing strategies and solutions to mitigate disruptions to our ability to accept tax returns, make payment deposits, and service taxpayer calls and chats. We incorporated lessons learned from 2013 and performed an in-depth analysis of our modernized enterprise platform to proactively address potential risks. Finally, we developed marketing and stakeholder communication to bring about awareness and encourage early filing. I'll hand it back to Roger to discuss our efforts related to the expansion of the California Earned Income Tax Credit.
Thanks, Jared. The last item we will discuss is the expansion of the California Earned Income Tax Credit, referred to as the Cal EITC. This year, the governor and the legislature provided $5 million in grants to improve Cal EITC statewide and $4.9 million grants to support the Voluntary Income Tax Assistance Program, also known as VITA, for their prep sites, which help connect people with California EITC. Grantees are busy with outreach efforts as we speak. FTB also is coordinating a Cal EITC VITA e-bus tour that includes up to 60 stops around the state. This is up from 25 e-bus tours last season. The bus is going to many places where people may have limited access to free tax prep help, including the fire-ravaged communities of Paradise and Redding. FTB designed, printed, and distributed a total of 1.5 million Cal EITC brochures, posters, and postcards this season. Our partners use these materials at free tax prep events, send the information home with elementary school students, and canvass neighborhoods to get the word out. And for the first time, FTB offered an 11-part VITA video training series to train more people to become VITA volunteers, thus providing more chances for the public to connect with free tax prep, as well as the federal and state earned income tax credits. So as you can see, FTB does many things to ensure we are well prepared for a successful filing season. And our teams will be here for the June board meeting to share the results of our planning efforts and how the 2019 filing season concluded. So we'd like to thank you for your time today, and now we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Jared. Questions, members? Comments? I have one, and I don't recall. Was there any, I guess, delay as a result of the federal shutdown and the Internal Revenue Service ramping up for filing season?
Yeah, in terms of where we see the peak volume starting to pick up, we're about even where we were this same time last year.
Okay.
Like within 1%.
Oh, good, good. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Very well. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, members, we'll move on to item number 4. This is a PowerPoint presentation on the Administrative Dissolution Programs presented by Shannon Gutierrez and Audrey Rowe. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Shannon Gutierrez. I'm from the Accounts Receivable Management Division. And I'd also like to introduce my co-presenter today, Audrey Rowe from the Filing Division. As the department often shares, one of FTB's strategic goals is to provide quality taxpayer-centric service and lessen the burden on taxpayers through legislative policy, process, and procedural changes. Specifically, my co-presenter, Audrey, will share with you the early efforts to implement the administrative dissolution for nonprofit corporations, which paved the way for the recent efforts undertaken to implement the administrative dissolution for the domestic corporations, as well as the domestic limited liability companies, which I will speak to thereafter. It's important to share that the first goal in FTB's current strategic plan is to provide taxpayer-centric services. This simply means that we are continuously looking for ways to enhance our services to help taxpayers fulfill their tax obligations, as well as make it easier for customers to meet their compliance requirements. The administrative dissolution process was one area where enhancement was necessary in order to improve our customers' experience. To share more on the administrative dissolution of nonprofit corporations, I will now pass it over to Audrey.
Thanks, Shannon. Good afternoon, board members. Like Shannon mentioned, today I'd like to share with you a bit about the work that we do to enhance the administrative dissolution for the nonprofit corporations. The normal path nonprofits take to be in compliance is a multifaceted one. First, they register with the Secretary of State, and then in a timely manner, they request income tax exemption with the Franchise Tax Board. If nonprofits collect money from the public, they also must register with the Attorney General's Office Registry of Charitable Trusts. In order for nonprofits to keep their exempt status, they need to stay in compliance with all 3 agencies. Failure to file with just one agency will result in a suspension and a loss of tax exemption. Should a nonprofit's board of directors vote to dissolve the corporation, they need to request clearance from the Attorney General's office, and as long as they're current in all of their filings and have not been suspended, the final step to dissolve is to file with the Secretary of State's office. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the normal path. However, with nonprofits, things do not always go as planned. The reality is the majority of nonprofits are run by volunteers who don't always have a clear understanding of the filing requirements or simply assume that another person within the organization will handle the filing, and as a result, things get missed. We frequently see these nonprofits falling out of compliance, becoming suspended, and losing their tax-exempt status. Once tax-exempt status is lost, they're subject to tax, including the $800 minimum tax, like any general corporation. Under the law prior to 2016, corporations could not dissolve if they were suspended. Therefore, these nonprofits would have to first revive by filing corporate tax returns and paying thousands of dollars in back taxes before they could dissolve. FTB staff identified over 140,000 nonprofit corporations that have suspended and not filed returns in over 48 months. Back in 2014, the Nonprofit Policy Committee of the California State Bar invited Franchise Tax Board staff, as well as staff from the Secretary of State's office and the Attorney General's office, to discuss the concerns. At the meetings, it was discussed that many nonprofits don't have the resources to pay these hefty tax burdens, and many more simply did not have surviving officers or directors that could initiate a legal dissolution. As a result of these meetings, legislation was introduced and ultimately passed beginning January 1, 2016, paving an alternate path for dissolving these long-suspended nonprofits and lessening the burdens of the nonprofit taxpayers who were just trying to do the right thing. Implementing the new legislation required significant coordination between the Franchise Tax Board, Secretary of State's office, and the Attorney General's office. Regular meetings were held between these agencies to figure out what actions we each would need to take to ensure a smooth process for the taxpayers, compliance with each agency's legal requirements, and a secure transmission of data between the agencies. The new legislation resulted in 3 new paths for nonprofits to dissolve and will be implemented in a phased approach, allowing immediate relief for those nonprofits that were actively seeking to dissolve. Starting 1/1/16, nonprofits that were in existence less than 24 months and essentially were created in error can file to request a short-form dissolution directly with the Secretary of State's office without needing approval from the Attorney General's office or to be in filing compliance with the Franchise Tax Board. Also starting 1/1/16, nonprofits in existence longer than 2 years can file to request voluntary dissolution directly with the Franchise Tax Board. Under the voluntary path, Franchise Tax Board staff and Attorney General staff work together to review the request. Once approved, the nonprofit is then mailed approval letters from both the FTB and the AG in a single envelope, along with detailed instructions on how to dissolve with the Secretary of State. The final path, the administrative dissolution, was implemented beginning early 2017. Under administrative dissolution, nonprofits suspended and not filing returns longer than 48 months are notified that they're subject to administrative dissolution and given 60 days to object and avoid being dissolved. Notification is made by mail if FTB has a valid address and by simultaneously posting on the Secretary of State's website. Nonprofits that do object are given instructions on how to revive and reinstate their tax-exempt status. To get the word out to the nonprofit community, FTB participated in numerous forms of outreach, including tax news articles, meeting with industry groups, and presenting directly to the public via nonprofit seminars. In the 3 years since this program was initiated, we've seen some pretty amazing results. The Secretary of State has successfully dissolved over 2,500 nonprofits requesting short-form dissolution. FTB has received over 1,700 requests for voluntary dissolution with a 90% approval rate. Of these, to date, almost 900 have successfully completed the dissolution process and are now dissolved. We've received numerous calls and letters of thanks from nonprofits, especially churches, small social clubs that discontinued operating in the 80s and 90s that stated they've been struggling for years to dissolve their nonprofit. Our administrative dissolutions are conducted in batches, beginning with the oldest nonprofits, and have dissolved over 64,000 to date. More importantly, by contacting these long-suspended nonprofits, we're able to assist 160 nonprofits, many who didn't realize that they were out of compliance, to get back into good standing. To share the recent efforts of our administrative dissolution process for both the domestic corporations and domestic LLCs, I'll pass it back to Shannon.
Thank you, Audrey. In the December 2015 Taxpayer Bill of Rights hearing held here at the Franchise Tax Board, public concerns were brought forward regarding the complexity of the business entity dissolution and cancellation process. Specifically, the process for corporations and limited liability companies to dissolve or cancel if that entity ceased doing business or never conducted business. Similar problems to what Audrey just shared with the nonprofit corporations. We heard the public concerns and as a result formed a team in 2016 that included the Franchise Tax Board, the Secretary of State, as well as the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, also known as GoBiz. This team was tasked to conduct an in-depth analysis of the existing law, processes, procedures, forms, resources, and data, with the goal of the FTB to provide taxpayer-centric services. From these collaborative efforts, the legislative proposal was drafted by the FTB in 2017 to recommend giving FTB the authority to administer an administrative dissolution program for business entities that ceased business or never conducted business. Subsequently, Assembly Bill 2503 was signed into law and chaptered on September 22, 2018. Effective January 1, 2019, the bill provides two options for administrative dissolution for qualified domestic corporations and domestic limited liability companies that have ceased doing business or never conducted business and have no assets. The Voluntary Administrative Dissolution Program, which is initiated by the taxpayer, authorizes the FTB to abate, upon written request qualified by a qualified entity, the unpaid taxes, interest, and penalties for the taxable years in which the entity certifies it was not doing business and has no remaining assets in that business. And if all requirements are met, the FTB will administratively dissolve or cancel that business. The Administrative Dissolution Program, which is initiated by the Franchise Tax Board, authorizes the Franchise Tax Board to dissolve or cancel those domestic corporations or domestic limited liability companies that have been suspended by the FTB for 60 consecutive months, have ceased doing business, have no assets, and have paid all taxes and filed all tax returns as of the date they ceased doing business. Upon the passage of the legislation in September, the Franchise Tax Board quickly set up project teams to begin implementation efforts. This included partnering with the Secretary of State on the transmission of data, web content, and related processes. We also worked collaboratively with our advocate and the Education and Outreach Department to begin outreach efforts to inform the public of this new law. In order to provide the best services possible to assist business entity taxpayers, we worked diligently to make sure the request forms, web content, and the public phone number were in place in order to successfully implement Phase 1 of our efforts timely, which was the Voluntary Administrative Dissolution Program. We did that on January 1st of this year, 2019. To date, we have received nearly 1,200 requests from businesses requesting the Franchise Tax Board to administratively dissolve or cancel their business. Of that total, we have approved 215, and we expect to receive another 3,000 requests by the end of the fiscal year. Phase 2 of our efforts will be to implement the Administrative Dissolution Program. To do this, the FTB will begin, starting in the latter part of this month, March, conducting the necessary analysis and case studies in order to identify the cases that meet the requirements for the administrative dissolution process. The objective is to implement on January 1st of 2020. And lastly, Audrey and I would like to simply thank you for your time and for your continued efforts to support the FTB's taxpayer-centric efforts. At this time, we'd like to know if you have any questions of us with regards to the administrative dissolution programs.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Questions or comments, members? Any? No? Thank you, and really appreciate you being responsive to the concerns that were raised from a whole number of vantage points, and congratulations on just really a terrific effort.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 5. This is the administrative matters. We're going to have Tiffany Weiss come forward and present the 2019-20 finance letters, and Michael Benuelos representing contracts, presenting contracts over $1 million as action items for board approval. And we'll hear the presentation, and then we will see about entertaining a motion. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Tiffany Weiss. I'm the Director of Financial Management Bureau, and I will be presenting for your approval 2 finance letters for the 2019-20 fiscal year. The first proposal is for Fiscal, and it requests $1.63 million and 11 permanent positions and 3 permanent intermittent positions in the 2019-20 and 2020-21 fiscal years. This is to fully implement the Financial Information System for California, or Fiscal system, and to comply with statewide accounting policies within mandated timeframes. These resources will be performing accounting and procurement activities. The next proposal is for postage for estimate payment notices. This proposal requests $612,000 in the 2019-20 fiscal year and ongoing, to send an annual information notice to business entities with a summary of their estimate payments made for the prior tax year. The notifications are intended to provide a source document for taxpayers, allowing them to accurately report their estimate payments on their return. This will reduce errors on the return, contacts to FTB contact centers, and allows for the correct payment of tax at the time the return is filed. This request provides the funding necessary for the annual mailing of these notices. At this time, I'd like to ask for your approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tiffany. Questions, members? I have one. And it's related to the fiscal proposal. In terms of just continuing to implement and obviously comply with statewide accounting procedures, are there, I've noticed in some of the, I guess, revenue reports, or as we're tracking, particularly now leading up to April, I think a lot of departments are footnoting fiscal in terms of maybe not getting or reporting kind of what's actually come in because of additional time with processing. Is that an experience here as well?
Yes, it's taking us longer to process. The change from batch processing to individual items is taking us longer.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in terms of the reconciliation of that, what's the period of time where you believe that you actually can, I guess, what's the gap? What's the lag time?
For reconciliation?
Reconciliation.
That is the last outstanding piece that we're working to set up. We're just receiving data now to begin our reconciliations.
Okay. All right. Now, this is, I just point this out, members, because this is really a critical piece of fiscal implementation, and it is something that I hope other departments are also recognizing as well. So appreciate you bringing this forward.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Members, do we want to entertain a motion on these two budget letters now, or shall we hear from Mr. Benuelos as well? Okay.
Would you like me to go forward with my presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. So good afternoon, board members. It's very nice to see all of you this afternoon. My name is Michael Benuelos, and I'm the director of the Franchise Tax Board's Procurement Bureau. I'm here today to present 3 proposed contracts over $1 million for your approval. With your permission, I will present the 3 contracts, and then I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Actually, Mr. Benuelos, let me pause here. Perhaps we should bifurcate these. I think Member Chamberlain, Department of Finance, typically abstains from the finance letters. So why don't we entertain a motion for the 2 finance letters that are before us first? So
moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Member Cohn. I will second that motion without objection, noting that Member Chamberlain is abstaining. Such will be the order. Thank you.
Okay. So based on that, I'm going to bypass my preamble and just get to the contracts. That's okay. Our first request is for the purchase of 3 mail machine inserters to process outgoing mail. So as you heard in Jared's presentation, and obviously the world is moving towards more electronic means of communication, but there still is a heavy reliance on mail here at FTB, and we need to have that equipment to do those mailings. So on average, we're still processing about 20 million pieces of mail annually to communicate with taxpayers. So these inserters, they're mail inserters, sometimes they're called mail machines, but they are critical to our operations here at FTB. Currently, we have 3 inserters which we purchased in 2007 and 2008, which are in need of replacement. This equipment reached end of life in 2018, and they are currently running software that is no longer supported by the manufacturer. The estimated total cost for the 3 new inserters is $3 million in total. So that's the first one. The second contract, which I am presenting for your approval, is our Microsoft Enterprise License Agreement, or what we more commonly call our MILA. FTB's existing enterprise agreement for Microsoft products expires on May 31st, 2019. And we're seeking approval to enter into a new 3-year agreement. FTB will leverage the California Department of Technology's contract for the bulk of these products, but we will also be using a DGS contract to buy some additional products on our own. In sum, we're looking at 3-year agreements, roughly in the neighborhood of $9.6 million. Microsoft products are critical tools which are embedded into our computer and server environments here at FTB. The multitude of products range from computer and server operating systems, word processing, email, database solutions, and development tools. Without these mission-critical tools, our software will be unsupported, leaving FTB open to security threats and vulnerabilities. And without these tools, FTB server and computer environments are at risk of being unusable. So that's the second request that I have. And then our last but equally critical request is for the renewal of our IBM maintenance contract for software products used in our mainframe computing environment. Similar to Microsoft, IBM products are critical tools within our environment. This is a joint contract that FTB has historically shared with the Department of Technology. The current 3-year contract expires on September 30th, 2019, so it's coming up pretty soon. And the total value of the expiring contract is $65 million, so it's a split contract. Of that amount, $12 million is generally attributed to FTB, so the Department of Technology has the bulk of that contract. FTB's mainframe utilizes IBM proprietary software products to provide enterprise operation solutions ranging from security to vital tax processing systems, including the Taxpayer Information System and the Business Entities Tax System. Any tax system that resides on FTB's mainframe must use a number of IBM products maintained via this contract in order to support mission-critical functions. Without this contract, this mission-critical software would be unsupported, and this would negatively impact taxpayers as well as the state of California. As in past years, we will look to collaborate with the Department of Technology on a joint contract. Right now, we're considering probably a 3 to 5 year contract that could be up to $19 million, but the final term and price of the contract will depend on the negotiation. So this one will go through a negotiated process with IBM. So these are the contracts I am presenting for your approval today, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Questions or comments, members? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the contracts?
Make a motion to approve the contracts.
Okay, we have a motion by Member Cohn to approve all 3 contracts. Is there a second? I'll second that motion. Are you abstaining?
I'm approving.
Oh, you're okay. Great. Okay, I'll go ahead and second the motion without objection. Okay, such will be the order. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. All right, we now are on item number 6, and this is Executive Officer's time, and we'll turn it to Selby Stanislas.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. To begin my time today, I would like to first welcome the Honorable Board Member Malia Cohen. I welcome your service on this board and appreciate the dedication to the more than 10 million Californians in the BOE's 2nd District. Ms. Cohen, your distinguished service as President of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, as President of the San Francisco Employee Retirement System, and your service as the fiduciary member of the San Francisco Transportation Authority will be of great value on this board. We sincerely appreciate the unique perspective you bring. As always, we value the perspective and experiences of our entire board that brings to the table, especially under the leadership of the Controller, the Honorable Betty E., who just began her 2nd term as the state's Chief Fiscal Officer. I can't think of a better suited group of leaders who are ready to tackle the work and the opportunities ahead for the Franchise Tax Board. As we mentioned in our video at the very beginning of our agenda, our future is bright, and you each contribute to that sentiment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Selby, very much. And just for your leadership and always just having such an open door for us as members of the board. And I think what my colleagues will find is that the relationship between the board and this organization is quite integrated. We've become a part of the culture, so it's great. Thank you. Item number 8 is board members' time, and any comments from board members? Okay. If not, let me just say, let me add my welcome to Board of Equalization Chairwoman Malia Cohen, who has been a colleague, has been a leader in San Francisco, and this is just a really wonderful time to have you join the board, particularly as we're ramping up to our tax filing deadline, and look forward to your sharing in that time with the team here. And it's an exciting time, and you'll really capture the spirit of this organization during this period. I want to, I guess, welcome back home Member Chamberlain, where he's had a distinguished career, certainly with this organization and now with the Department of Finance. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize that I don't know if we've had this before, Selby, an all-women board?
Probably not, no.
Okay, I think that deserves acknowledgement. That really appreciate Director of Finance Keely Bossler, who's just had really a distinguished career. We're very pleased that she is the Director of the Department of Finance after having served as Cabinet Secretary for our prior Governor, Jerry Brown. So look forward to serving together. Thank you. Yes, please, Member Cohn.
I just want to underscore something that Ms. Stanislaw said when she said our future is bright. I'm very excited to be here. I have many years of public service, and I think it will serve me well. But what's most important is that I consider it a privilege to be sitting here, a privilege that I don't take for granted, and a privilege that will just not be taken for granted. I'll leave it there. I'm just overwhelmed and very moved by the kindness that I have experienced since stepping into the building. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other business to come before the board? Okay, hearing none. I believe that concludes our agenda. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.